Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Hurricane Central. Welcome to Energize Live. This is where we make magic in the morning, and we're definitely making some rain this morning. Things are happening this morning. The rain has started, so welcome to the Hurricane edition of Energize Live. Listen, I'm supposed to be live in my team page tomorrow, Thursday, when Thursday's a day. Someone just send me good vibes that we don't lose power. I feel like we're going to probably lose power on all of this. So this is our first hurricane. It's our first hurricane. You know, it's funny because some people have lived here for quite a while. You know, they moved a few years ago or whatever. They've lived here for quite a while and they haven't experienced a hurricane. And here we are 6 months in and we're going to get one. And this morning, one of the weather people that I follow said it's a Category 4. Also, what do you do? You just have to. You got to batten down the hatches, right? You got to batten down the hatches. It said Category 4. Those people on the coast. Whew, yeah, it's a thing. So we have brought in everything from the outside. Obviously, I don't know my stories last night. Yesterday was weird. We were busy yesterday. We were doing a lot of stuff yesterday. My husband worked really hard to get everything inside the house. I was doing a lot of work yesterday. I got my hair cut yesterday because we knew we're supposed to do it late. No, got to do it today. Got my hair cut yesterday. Just trying to finish up these sort of preparations about which we know nothing. You know, my mom's called me like 5 times. I'm like, Mom, I know nothing. I've never done this before, actually. I've never done this before. So we've brought everything in. We've got food. I bought extra battery chargers, so chargers for the phone. We don't have our windows boarded up, and we just don't have that. And there are lots of trees in the neighborhood, so I'm sure if one falls, then we're all going to get. It's a neighborhood, right? It's a neighborhood, so we don't have any of that. We do have a gas stove, which I'm happy about. I was very leery about when we moved in. I'm like, I've never had a gas stove, and I'm really actually glad that we have a gas stove, because if the hurricane knocks our power out, which it does, if our electricity goes out, we can still cook on the gas stove. So here's what I know, that in times of chaos, whatever it is, it doesn't matter whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's just unique challenges to you, unique challenges to you. In times of chaos, the pieces that help me navigate it all are always my habits. Last week, also, did you see my mug that I made first thing with today? Look, that's my mug today. I have another one for Friday. Hopefully we have power on Friday. Who knows? None of us know. None of us know what's happening. But last week, just speaking of challenging seasons and challenging events and all of that kind of stuff. Last week, I asked on my stories, like, how you feeling? How you feeling this week? And if you are anything like the people who answered on my story last week, the answers were they made me sad, and also like, how can I help? Because the answers were, I'm just feeling blah. So if you're anything like the people that were answering last week, it was, I'm just feeling blah. A couple of the answers were, I dislike my job very much. A couple of the answers were, I can't figure out how to get motivated. I can't figure out how to get consistent. Does that ring for any of you that happen to be on? And do you know that I dislike very much the whole, like, big, broad you. Like, I want you to understand that I'm talking to you individually. However, we're on an Instagram Live, and there's a group of us here, and that's our community, and that's what we love. So I'm curious if that rings true or feels true for any of you, because those answers that came through last week, if you are feeling this way, are you feeling this way? This sort of blahness, this sort of stuckness, or this sort of, because we were talking about that so much last week, about this feeling of stuckness. And so I asked on my stories, how are you feeling right now? Like, what's going on? How are you feeling? And it was like, I'm just feeling unmotivated. I can't stay consistent. I don't love my job. There's a couple coaching questions. I always get the coaching questions, because I'm so passionate about the Team Beachbody business. I'm really passionate about network marketing, it kind of in general, because I think it's the most amazing way to create impact and income. And I just don't really have any patience for people who are like, ew, network marketing. Like, I want to punch you in the face. I said that out loud. Because just stop it, so there were some coaching questions that came through, but a lot of it was just, I just feel and so I'm curious if that resonates with any of you that are on here today. Like, does that feeling, or was that sort of last week with all the planets in retrograde, and this week we're feeling better even with all the stuff going on? I'm curious where we are right now. Like, have we made progress from last week? Because we talked about it a lot last week, and I gave some tips and some thoughts. And today's Project 100 podcast is actually about that as well, getting out of a rut and getting off a plateau. I have you know what happens when you have short hair and you get your hair cut? Like, you get little hairs everywhere because you have no hair, so you get these little hairs that are everywhere. So I feel like I still have little hairs everywhere, all over. Hold on, I gotta take a drink of my Energize. It's so good. It's so good. So I'm curious how we're feeling this week compared to last week. Feeling. Cassie, you made some changes. Cassie, are you able to share with us some of those changes that you made? So L Simone 0502 with no profile picture. How am I supposed to have a conversation with you? No profile picture. Feeling stuck and restless. Sick for 10 days. I feel like I'm behind in life, and no, I'm not. Yeah, who gets to define what behind is? Is that a common feeling? Does anyone else feel that way? Just in general, like you feel like you get behind, you feel behind. I feel that way sometimes. And then I have to ask myself, well, who gets to define what behind is? I think that's so interesting. You did, Jenny? You listened to the podcast this morning? Was it helpful, Jenny? Because I talked specifically about stuff that we've talked about on here too. This idea of, why is my husband's alarm going off? I don't think so. He is getting his blood drawn this morning, and he's getting his shot. But we don't need to be getting up at 6:45. No, that doesn't happen till 8. Like, stop it. Jody, you're in bed by 8. You're in bed by 8:30. Wow, that takes a lot of discipline. 8:30 p.m. Wow. Are you asleep by 9? Is that what the goal is, to be asleep by 9? Also, Jody, do you have children? And if so, are they young, and are they going to bed like at 7? Or do you not have children, or are they older? I'm so curious as to that. Wow, 8:30. Yes, it's interesting, Cassie, isn't it? That action... Actually, I said this yesterday on the Daily Dose of Real Talk. Action is your sword. Literally, it's your sword that beats back your fear and your doubt and this stuff that goes on in your head. Action is what will figure that out. Your bedtime is 9. Your kids go to bed at 7. Wow. You're in bed by 8:15 or 8:30. Lights off by 9. Do you have children, Sarah Wolf Johnson? And are they young enough to be going to bed at like 7? Wow. that would not feel right to me, that's what's so cool about this. Like, everyone's got to find the way that works for them, right? You have a son that's 15 and you can be asleep by 9. Wow. It's so interesting. So interesting. Sarah, do they go to bed at 7? Like, I don't understand this. I mean, I had children too, so that's what I don't understand. Like, aren't they in things and doing things? This is so interesting to me. Okay, Mrs. Heather Pittman. Also, can I suggest that we change the Instagram handle? Have you done that already, Heather Pittman? Do we need the Mrs. in front of it? Do we need that? Can you not just be Heather Pittman? I'm so curious about that. Heather's question is, does she stay corporate or does she branch out into something else? My question back to you is, why does it have to be either or? Why do you have to do one or the other? Why can't you stay in whatever current position that you have unless you absolutely hate it and it's making your life miserable while exploring other options? Why can't you do both? Why does it have to be either or? I'm so curious. If you have little ones, I think it's much easier to go to bed earlier, for sure, because as my girls got older, of course, their activities were later. And as teenagers, of course, it's their natural hormonal tendency. It's not anything that, like, I think people get so, because I taught high school too, so I have maybe a little different insight into adolescents. Like, they really just do stay up later and get up later. It's hormonal. It's not like they're trying to make life difficult. They really do just stay up later and get up later. So as my girls got older and their activities were, Josie would dance till 8 or 9, and Jenna would have band, and Jesse. So it was just like, you're just up because it just is what it is. Yeah, you can't, when your kids are in those things that are happening later. It's harder to go to bed earlier just because of that. Interesting. It's so interesting. Yeah. But little ones, like, dude, yes. Like, dude, get them in bed. They need to go in bed. Go to bed. Yeah. It's a lot. So this is just an interesting conversation, because what I have felt that, I mean, we've talked about sleep on here before, so that's not a conversation that we necessarily have to have right now. We don't need the misses. Good question. Back to Heather. I'm distracted. We don't need the misses. Yeah, we don't need the misses. Do you know why? Because I don't need to know if you're married or not to decide if I like you. I don't need to know that. And I feel like at some point, would this be helpful at some point to have a conversation on your actual Instagram bio, knowing that I'm not I don't profess myself to be an expert, but I feel like I know some, and I know some that isn't really correct, if you will, on an Instagram bio, because some Instagram bios, when I look at them, look like a dating profile. Y'all, this ain't Tinder. It isn't. So Jenny said it was very helpful. It was very helpful. Oh, the podcast today, it was very helpful. You have felt stuck and you felt lost. Has anyone else felt this way? Is anyone else relating to this? A little bit of stuck and a little bit of lost, a little bit of lack of motivation. Has anyone else kind of felt that recently? I'm feeling like that's speaking to a lot of people right now. A little bit of stuff. I really believe there's a lot of stuff just seasonally and in the air that is contributing to that. I really believe that. And I think we get down on ourselves when we get off track, because we have these very unrealistic expectations of how we're supposed to navigate our life. I don't know where those come from. And then we get a little bit off track, as if there really even is a track. And I think that we don't do activities later than 7:30. Amy, you don't do activities later than 7:30. Did you tell me how old your kids were too? Because I'm curious about that. You don't do activities later than 7:30. I'm curious how old your children are. You have one daughter still home at 19. She's either home. You're like, Alice, you're like, you're either home or you're not. You're 19, figure it out. I mean, that's funny. Yeah, Friday nights are late because I know I had a girl in marching band, and so they were late. Stuck the hamster wheel. Yeah. Brooke, right? Like after Brooke's in my Compass coaching, and so we had a really good last night's call was really good, and we kind of went through some of that stuff. And hi Suzette, good morning. Change of Seasons does that too. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through these. I apologize because sometimes I feel like I'm not giving you information like you came for, because I'm scrolling through these comments so that I can have conversation. Yes, I do absolutely believe. Okay, so Amy, totally love that rule that you don't do activities after 7:30. I absolutely love that with the ages of your kids. That's amazing. Some of that will probably change as they get older, but you don't have to worry about that right now. You can cross that bridge when you come to it, because you have little ones, and so that's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It's just, here's what's so interesting is, like, you never know, this is a tangent, you never know what your kids are going to fall in love with, right? I did not know that, that Jenna, our oldest, was going to fall in love with marching band / color guard and and get involved in color guard. And where we lived in Carmel, Indiana, they were one of the top 3 color guards in like the entire country. Anywhere I go where I'm talking to people about marching band or color guard, like literally anywhere, and I said, oh, my daughter's in color guard, and they'll say, oh, where? And I'll say Carmel High School. They're like, oh, okay. So you never know what your kids are going to get involved in. And then Josie, of course, with ballet, I mean, she found it at age 3. By the time she was in grade school, we knew like this was the thing that was for her. And then Jessie, as a performer, you never know what your kids are going to get involved in, and it's a really delicate balance between having some family structure, but also supporting your kids in their passion. Jenna's passion was color guard. If I would have said, no, I'm sorry, you have to be home at 8, that would have taken her out of something that has made her life better in every way. So that's what parenting is. It's a dance, right? It's a dance between having some structure that is healthy, and also they're human being people. They're human being people with their own passions and dreams and goals, and our job is to support that, because why? We created them. Hi Tim, good morning. Right? Carmel's insane, isn't it? It is. After Carmel High School, Jenna had the amazing opportunity to go on. She did drum corps in the summer, she did World Guard in the fall, and she had the incredible opportunity to win 2 world championships with a World Guard Pride of Cincinnati while she was in college. I mean, who thinks to themselves, gosh, I wonder if my daughter will be in color guard? Who's like, I wonder if my daughter will be in ballet? I wonder if my daughter will get to be a performer on a cruise ship? Like, you don't even know what your kids are going to be involved in. You just don't even know. And I think parenting is that interesting, delicate balance between how do I keep them healthy mentally and physically and provide some family structure, and also how do I make sure they have the opportunity to pursue their goals and dreams. So that's another tangent. But I was looking at those answers that came through last week again, that when I asked that question, like, how are you feeling? I was looking at those answers today, and they made me sad, because I don't want anyone to feel stuck or lost or unmotivated. I don't want anyone to go to work and hate their job. I don't want any of that. I hate that. Hate's a strong word. I dislike that very much. It makes me very sad when people, are like that, are feeling like that. And when I have felt like that, when I have felt stuck or unmotivated, I will tell you what has always happened, or what has always helped me, has been some kind of plan and then taking action on that plan. always. Like sitting in the suck and sitting in the I don't know what to do does not help, but getting a plan and taking action on that plan is what helps in some way. And I think we interpret action as I have to overhaul my entire life. But what if you, okay, here's a perfect example. Have any of you ever felt like I need to do some spring cleaning, some purging, some organizing? And you're like, oh my gosh, these closets, it's so much, it's so overwhelming. And then you just open up a drawer, like your junk drawer, because everyone has one, and you just clean out, purge, and organize one drawer. One. How much better do you feel? Like you pull that drawer out, just pull that drawer out, and you're like, okay, and you just organize that one drawer. Are you like freaking Wonder Woman? Like you just, solved all the world's problems because you just cleaned out the one drawer? And then doesn't that give you a little bit, you're like, okay, I cleaned out the drawer. Let me tackle the closet. Let me tackle the what, and that one drawer and what you just accomplished in the drawer gives you a little bit more motivation to, Elizabeth has 5 junk drawers, gives you motivation to tackle the next project and then the next project. But no one said that you have to go tackle the garage as your very first project, right? So when we get in this stuck feeling and we feel overwhelmed and we feel sort of bleh, we've got this sort of malaise over us, a plan and taking action on the plan will help you move through that. It will help you move through that. And having realistic expectations for said plan. Not I'm going to overhaul my entire life. I'm going to purge, I'm going to clean, I'm going to start with a drawer. And then I'm going to go to the next drawer, and then I'm going to go to a closet, and then I'm going to go, and I'm just going to keep moving through. And so my encouragement to you today is, do you have a plan to get out of your unstuckness? Do you have a community that supports that plan? And are you taking action on it in some way? Are you taking action to move on that plan? Do you have a plan? Do you have a community that supports that plan? And are you taking action on it in some way? Because in my experience, that's been what has helped me as well. That's been what has helped me get the unstuck, get the out of the just kind of feeling, get over on the plateau. And I also noticed, I just had this conversation yesterday, and I bring it to you because I think it's so interesting. The more you grow, the further you get on your personal growth journey, I think the more often you find yourself on a plateau because you're so much more self-aware. So the further I get on my personal growth journey, the more I grow and expand, the more I find myself on a plateau sooner. I remember in 2014 so vividly being on such a plateau, and then I got a plan and I got action and I got a community, I got some mentors, and I worked myself off of that, and then it was a while again before I felt myself on a plateau. And over the past probably 5 years, it's been like freaking plateau. Why? Because I'm further on my personal growth journey. I'm much more self-aware, and my goals are so much bigger. So you're going to find yourself on those plateaus even more. New levels, new devils. Exactly. So I want you to embrace the plateau as a sign that you're growing. And you're not comfortable, you don't like where you were, that's why you feel restless and stuck. So the plateau isn't necessarily bad. It's a recognition that where you are isn't where you want to be. Now you get the opportunity to do something about it, right? So I would rather you welcome the plateaus and actually welcome them more often than never experience one. A thought for this Wednesday. Okay. I gotta go. My husband's coming in. It is raining. I don't know what we're gonna do about the dogs today. Anyone who has suggestions about how to navigate hurricanes with dogs, please let me know. I'm gonna do a daily dose of real talk. I'm gonna do my compass planner. There's something really cool on my Instagram bio today, a wait list. You're gonna wanna get on it. So when we get off here, just take yourself right over to my Instagram bio. Very top, click click on that, get on that wait list. Something's really cool is coming in the next couple weeks, and I'm very excited to share it with you. And it's an opportunity that you and I can work together. And if you are already in the Team Beachbody space, perfect. This will be for you. If you're in any other network marketing space, perfect. This will be for you. Cool? Okay, so go get on that wait list, and we will talk. Hopefully I'll talk to you on Friday. Stay tuned to my stories. I don't know if I'll have power, but hopefully I'll talk to you on Friday. Stay safe if you're in Florida.